welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Patriot Patch Company and Camerado. How's everybody?
Doing good.
Good.
Doing well. Doing well.
Paul, good to see those surroundings behind you.
Yes. We're getting back into reloading. Got
Push it through.
a couple thousand 9mm to do, and my brother-in-law asked me to load up some 40 short and weak. Ooh.
That's funny.
Okay, Travis.
Funny.
Okay, I could tell that Travis Buck's been prompting you, Mr. Nelson.
So. And then it's time to go through all the rifle cases and see what's empty and what needs to be filled.
Yeah. Can anybody in the chat hear my computer's cooling fan? And or Nick and Ray? Nick, I muted you because you were making noise. So. Okay, good. No fan. Yay. So, Windows has just been absolutely horrible. Apple's been horrible, and honestly, it's mostly because I'm poor, and so I can't afford a fancy new Apple computer or even a current Apple computer. So what I had a iMac 21.5 and then a Mac Mini, both of which were 2013 and 2014. So Apple stopped updating them, and as a result, so you get to a point where software doesn't work always. I was trying to use my Canon as a webcam, and it just got to the point where it wasn't working. So I am actually in the process of moving this hard drive that's on this here over to a new old Windows that actually is still functional. And then at some point in time, I'm going to see if I can backdoor upgrade the Mac Mini and maybe go back to using that. I don't know if I can or not. Supposedly you can. I'm not sure. So that's where I'm at right now. Busy week at work, busy week at home. Got dragged out trick-or-treating with one of my grandnephews last Wednesday or Thursday. So, and then I found out the other one. So as we're there, my other niece shows up, and she was kid-free. So, but she was telling me a story about her son. He was painting pumpkins as part of a Halloween decoration, and he made some cool designs. So he grabbed his pumpkin, made a big circle, and right next to it made another big circle. And then inside each of those circles, after he painted them, inside each of those circles, he made another circle. And then inside each of those circles, he made a small circle. Anybody guess what he was decorating his pumpkin with? No. Nick knows. Jim?
Tell us, Mike.
Neither of you guys know, or neither of you want to say?
Don't know. I have no clue.
Movies.
What the hell is that?
Boobies.
Okay.
Boobies. Breasts. Tatas. Mammary
Oh,
glands. Melons.
gotcha now. I've done things like that when I was
I
that
figured if
age.
I went, yeah, but he's 3.
Oh, God.
So I immediately texted his dad and I said, "So I heard your son likes to paint pumpkins." And he goes, "Yep." And he told me, I said, "You're doing a great job as a father."
God.
Oh. So.
But you haven't lived until you had the experience of hearing a 4-year-old use an F-bomb.
That's nothing. That's rookie.
Yeah, right. Okay.
When a 2-year-old does it, and that's the second word they ever say, now you're talking.
Oh, boy. You're right. That's what I'm talking about is rookie.
Told you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, needless to say, that person's husband got in a serious amount of trouble when
They've just been breastfeeding him too long. That's all.
nah. So what's everybody else been up to?
I've been working
Given
on more wheel weights. I sent Mike a picture if you want to show it. I washed down the wheel weights I was just talking about that was covered with snuff and spit. And washed them down with a garden hose, put them on a piece of plywood, lean them against a 5-gallon bucket for them to drain, and even if it rains, sooner or later we'll have some sunshine. Those wheel weights dry out. Besides that, I'll make sure those wheel weights go in the lead pot first while the lead pot's empty and cool and dry. Because that way the steam will all boil up before the lead ever gets close to it.
Yeah.
you got a big pot to put on a regular burner on a.
Yeah, it's an outdoor propane burner, but yeah, I got 2 pots now. One I ruined with zinc and lead mixture. I started fooling with this batch of wheel weights. And then I got a new pot that I made. It's a little bit smaller. It only holds 10 pounds instead of 20. No, I
Okay.
take that back. It's more like 7 quarts versus 3 quarts.
7 quarts. Wow.
You have lead.
Yeah, that's a lot of lead.
Yes, sir. 128 pounds.
Yeah.
I use go to Harbor Freight and buy their cheap Dutch oven. It works really well.
Yep, that'll do it.
I think it's only $10, $20.
Yep.
I made
I
mine
ha-
out of free steel.
I
Steel I
have
use
a
is free, and so is welding. Go ahead, Paul.
I have a reject La Crusade that is my lead melting pot. It's 12
Nice.
quart.
3 gallon, that's a lot of lead.
Yeah.
Whew. That's probably big. It would be, even that would be, Travis C. Got a question on the screen. Yes, we have. Anyway, that is a lot of lead. 3 gallons of lead. Oh my God. You're talking better 250 pounds of lead.
Yep.
I'm the bull wager in the crowd, Travis.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we talked about swaging, though. That was back in Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
So We'll talk about it again sometime.
Yep.
But so I have the on-call phone this week. So if anybody hears a good old-fashioned ringer, that's that, and I got to grab that quick. So, but Billy Gnaggy said aluminum pots not work well for lead melting for what it's worth. Well, yeah, I would think so. I don't think they'd handle the heat very well.
No, they won't. I found out from personal experience myself. Not quite as severe as he may have, but I found out 30 seconds on an open burn with nothing in the pot, you don't have a pot anymore. You have a hole in the bottom of your pot. Can you imagine the rush I had when I saw the big old hole in the bottom of the pot and I had a handful of can full of oil ready to pour down on that flame?
Comedy.
Good thing I saw the hole first.
Billy, just a question for you. Did you get a go and no-go gauge too?
So Travis T said Ozark Trail Dutch oven gets the job done. Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, try and find you can find old Dutch ovens at garage sales too.
And like Ray just mentioned, probably find something like that at Harbor Freight.
Holy crap! Freddie Freeman went yard again.
Oh my gosh!
4 straight World Series games.
Well, we see the World Series MVP is.
Yeah.
If they win.
Well, I mean, are the Yankees even going to take a game? I don't think so.
At this right now.
Which is fine by me. Because I hate the Yankees. I hate the Yankees more than I hate the Dodgers.
Didn't you just say that?
What?
Didn't you just say the Dodgers took 4 straight?
No, I said Freddie Freeman has hit a home run in 4 straight. That's a record.
Excuse me.
Nope, you're fine. So. Yeah, so I mean, we've had a couple of shows where we've talked about what type of things to find to melt your lead in. So, like, if you go get a turkey fryer or a fish fryer from Cabela's, Bass Pro, Woodman, or Walmart, Woodman's, that's a grocery store around here. Walmart, Sportsman's Guides, whatever, it's going to have that aluminum pot. Yeah, you can't use it. You would think that you could.
You might get away with it if it's stainless. You will not get away with aluminum.
Well, see, the thing is, you would think, because the melting point of aluminum is over 1,200 degrees, you would think that you'd be able to get away with it.
Yeah,
but you got to get the lead inside up to 700 before you get the aluminum to 1,200.
Right, and that doesn't happen. So, unless, of course, you've got a couple days to do it, then you can do it nice and slow. Come back like 2 days later, check your lead. It's at 500 degrees.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you better have a 250-pound tank outside to feed that pot too.
Natural gas.
I mean, okay, natural gas. Natural gas doesn't burn as hot with the same BTUs as propane does.
No, but it's cheaper.
Amen to that.
So.
And you can use a fan. That's why that's right. That's why the glass plants all around the world use natural gas, because they can pump air into it. It can even enrich it with oxygen.
Correct. You can't do that with
fuel air mixture.
Technically, you can do it with propane, but it reduces the functionality of the propane. So, Billy said mine held up long enough to lift 20 pounds of melted lead. The bottom bowed a lot, but didn't blow out the bottom, luckily. Yeah, you got lucky on that. So.
Wow. Billy Nagy, you done good, bud.
$28.
You almost got away with murder.
Not really. Hmm. Excuse me. Anyway, um, so Nick and Ray, did you say what you've been up to other than being hoodlums?
First one is not really guns reloading related, but I did get my pins out of my hand.
Yep.
They're out, and I'm starting to get some good movement in the finger, so
Yay.
it's a good sign. Other than that, I got three holes.
3 holes.
3 holes bored in the concrete wall that separates the main room into the vault room downstairs. We did that last night. Filthy, dirty, just a mess. It's not something I'd want to do all the day long.
Slurry.
Just
Slurry, man. It's all right. You got it cleaned up.
But other than that,
What?
So you got a line down low to
Yep.
run your drain for your
my
dehumidifier.
Yep, I got one that's going to run all my power into it, and then I have one higher up on the wall that's going to be a natural air
Ventilation.
hole.
You rented a? Did you rent a big?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, went through Sunbelt Rentals and got one of their big coring drills with the.
Oh, a coring one?
Yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah.
wow.
We went
Okay.
coring. We went. I wanted to do it right. I figured, so I'm like, buy once, cry once. Let's do it right.
That's cheaper than buying the equipment.
Yeah,
That bit alone is like $360.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So,
That was for a 3-inch core.
Yeah. So you sat there and had to hook the hose up to it and everything else?
Yeah.
well, it came with like a pump system that you have to pump up, but
Filled up with water.
fill it with water and pumped in the water. But the pump was shot in that, so we had to stop like every
2 inches. and
2
refill.
inches into concrete and just refill and repump, and it wouldn't hold the pressure.
We got it.
But no, we got it. Yeah, it took a little longer than normal, but you would think. But no, that's in there. That was the big step holding us back. Now it'll be easy framing, drywall, electrical.
It's not in that order, though.
Not in that order, of course. Yeah,
frame in more.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, so
We get the idea, you know,
Yeah.
but
so
yeah, I
that's-
didn't know you were going that big with boring. So
We weren't sure. We figured let's be safe, especially if I'm going to have an air ventilation hole. The bigger the hole, the more air can flow in there. And how I'm going to do it is it's up along the top, towards the top of the wall. We're going to have it where whenever we insulate in the room, we're going to have it just as there is a cover with grates on the inside, come through, come out, and then we're going to have it snorkel up. And whenever we finish out the basement, we'll have that snorkel kind of just sitting in the rafters or in the ceiling, so that air will be able to come up and then siphon down in and into that room.
Yeah.
So really nobody will notice it.
So you know that your basic mechanical engineering is that every 90 degrees you slow the flow down by 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't want the room totally airtight in case you ever have to get down in a storm and the house falls in on you and you got air. So
Yep. But
Sure.
no, so yeah, that was that big project. That's really about it. Still waiting for my rifle. It's been sitting at a United States Postal Service distribution center for 4 days now. So hopefully it's here tomorrow, it says. So we'll see. It was supposed to be here Friday, but it's Tuesday. So other than that, that's been about it.
yeah.
Yeah, I've just been inventorying rifle brass and making a list of seeing what I need to do and inventory bullets and all that kind of stuff. So right now everything is all my work surfaces are covered. So
Sounds like fun.
yeah.
Paul, don't feel so bad. You're better organized than I am. Right now, I have no organization down here on the bench.
Well, I can't say it's organized. It's stacked up everywhere. Um, I did uh, get one of those tape label makers, and so that has been a little bit of a help. You know, label MTM boxes of what's what. You know, 22 250, 6 millimeter, 6 XC, and on down the line. So it's getting there.
Yeah.
So today we're supposed to do what?
Cerrosafe.
Cerrosafe. Okay. So that means we're gonna cast a chamber. Wow.
Correct.
Nice. Everybody get to the SAMI specs and pull up the chamber dimension so we can or see what it is. Get the micrometers out.
Yeah.
Oh, Billy. Go gauges are good. Um, if you like dealing with specific tool and gauges. Um, Manson.
That's what I use, Manson.
Yeah. Manson, if you can get them. They're all about the same amount of money, about 40 some dollars a piece. So, and if you only want to buy one, buy a go gauge and get yourself some Scotch tape.
Yeah.
So on the go gauge, as you take the, and I'm just going to hold this case up just to say you take and put Scotch tape over the base of it, and every piece of Scotch tape is about 2 thou, and you add it up to 5 thou is about the max I'll go on. I would go on it, and so 3 layers of tape to see how it headspace is out at that point. Sammy will go to 7, but that's a little bit. Um, I think it's a little long for chambering a gun.
I'm trying to think. I think Manson's between the go and the no go. I think it's 8 thousandths. I think,
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
yeah. But I think anything over 5 is a pretty much.
Yeah, I think your field gauge is right around 5, probably.
Um, yeah, but anything over 5 on a bolt gun that you're making is taken away. Being pretty loose as far as the chamber.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, it's um, Manson, PTG. Oh, who else is out there? There's about five other people that make
Climber.
gauges. Climber. Um, anyone you want to get them from. If you're smart, you'll go to um, reamers for rent and rent the go and no go gauges unless you're gonna be building a switch barrel gun where you're gonna switch barrels on it and you need the gauges for set and head space. Um, but I think if I remember right, you're going with a pre-fit barrel with a set shoulder in it, and not a lock nut. Yep, no barrel nut. Yep. So, which is, it's a good way to go. And the action you're dealing with which is a Mac Bros action single shot. Gives you a good sturdy bottom on it, and it's pretty nice.
I got one.
Yep.
St. Louis Ammo Man, anything fun planned for election night Tuesday? Yes, I have one. I'm going to go out and collect yard signs after it gets dark. I know
Of
where there's
course.
at least 2 dozen and all in one bunch. Thanks for the idea, Ammo Man. Thanks for yeah. Well, we won't talk about politics, but we'll collect yard signs. But they make great, I mean, absolutely fabulous target back.
They do. They do. And if you use 3M spray
Adhesive.
adhesive, you get really nice, clean bullet holes through the paper, and you can measure your groups extremely well.
Yard signs are good for at least one thing.
Hmm. Yes, they are. Okay. So, Six Pack Project said the real thing is there's a go gauge, a no go gauge, and a service gauge. Mind you, most people never get to using the service gauge. So, what's the service gauge?
Service gauge? Well, service gauge is kind of in between of a go and a no-go gauge, and it's telling you, giving you about how much it's out of spec. And reason most people don't use a service gauge is because the go and a no-go gauge are all you really need. Excuse me. But the real thing is that making sure that you take your bolt completely apart
Yeah.
before using them so you don't get false readings.
What type
You
of
know,
false readings would you get?
well, you get, if you don't take the ejector out, you got ejector drag, so you can't tell what's going on there. Um, if it's got a M16 extractor or a claw type extractor, you can take the extractor out, which helps you feel where the bolt is. Remingtons are a bit harder because of the clip that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a lot of the more commercial actions, you can take the extractor out and the ejector um, and the firing pin and all that, strip the bolt completely, and then go from there.
Yeah, no interference between the abutment and the datum line.
Yeah. So you're not looking for it to be pushing or um, pushing the go gauge on an angle or not letting it sit against the bolt the right way or having to jump over the on the extractor groove on the gauge. So you handle a go and a no go gauge like uh, like it's uh, an expensive piece of expensive precision piece of equipment that needs to be handled gently.
Okay.
Um,
I'm going to mute for a second because I think my wife just got home. So,
okay.
Nick, you want to explain what Nick and Ray, you want to explain the reasons why you would do what we're going to do tonight?
Yeah. So there's several reasons why you could Cerrosafe. First one is, for instance, this chamber. I don't know the caliber of it. I actually do know, but for instance, say there's a gun you pick up that you don't truly know what caliber it is. It's a good way to get an idea of your case dimensions and your bullet diameter to uh, start looking in the books and looking the specs to figure out your caliber. There's also a way you can actually use Cerrosafe for repairs. A good video out there is actually, we were just watching it today, Eric from Iraq Veteran 8888. In one of his CZ75s, he had was it a copper ring? I
Or a
believe.
split case.
A split case, copper ring in your chamber. You can do Cerrosafe to help get that out. So there's a wide variety of uses for Cerrosafe. It's a cheap material. It's good to have sitting around the bench. It's just always a nice all around material to have for any little bit of gunsmithing you might do. Anything else you can think of?
Well, you mentioned, if you don't know what the chamber is, like a lot of old military surplus rifles, and they
Yeah.
came back. A lot of people rechambered them from the original cartridge or something else, and you can tell it's been monkeyed with. If you know, and this is a good way to measure and find out what it actually is.
Yep.
Gives you,
Plus, it also will give you if you got a bulge chamber or something that you can't, you mildly bulged, not
Yep.
if it's big time, you can pretty much tell, but a mild bulge in there you can measure out and figure out what it is.
Yep.
and it's also
I've got a
like
question for you. Nick, is that stuff recyclable? Meaning, once you get copper ring out, can you remelt the Cerrosafe, get rid of the
Absolutely.
copper ring, and use it over again?
Absolutely. For instance, this one here, this is a 1 pound block. I actually picked up while we were up at Brownell's for GunCon. I think it's like $28 right now. I'll probably use this stuff for 20 years potentially.
Yeah.
So it's nothing you're going to use every day, but
infinitely recyclable.
it's infinitely recyclable. It's a very low melting point, which you'll see here later on. It's only 158 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit, so super low melting point.
Another good use for it too, especially if you cast your own loads, you can measure your grooves and lands.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you know exactly what to cast your bolt too.
Yeah, and we do that quite a bit on our old stuff. We know we're going to get either a custom mold made, or if we want to buy a specific sizing die to size our bullets down, we size like my martinis. I've figured out my Lanzingers on my martini, my Snyder, a lot of my old stuff. If I want to have a specific diameter bullet, we'll cast it through our Lanzingers and just to figure out what we want to get for our sizing die.
Then order the what you need either
Correct.
in a die or a,
Yeah, I either use the Lee push through sizers or my NOE ones, or if I'm gonna Lube-O-Matic my bullets with like pan lube or like a true bullet lube instead of powder coat,
Right.
I'll buy the sizing die for the RCDS Lube-O-Matic. It all just depends on what I'm doing.
and it also goes to buying your molds too, right?
Correct. And that's the nice thing about I think it's accurate bullet molds. I think NOE, and there's a couple other ones that you can tell them what diameter bullet
to the
thousandth if you want. I usually, if I can get within 3 or 4 thou, my push through sizers are going to do enough job sizing that bullet down. I try not to go above 4 thousandths. Then you just run into an issue of more when you're sizing that bullet. You could run into more issues, but I try to stay under 4 thousandths when I do that.
Yeah, because you can oblong the bullet. You can when you do it, so you want to keep it as round as possible with
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so like here's a good example. My 6.5 Carcanos, they have anywhere from a 2.64 to a 2.69 bore diameter. Yeah, they are very wide margin.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing you read on those. PPU, when they load their 6.5 Carcano, they use a 264 diameter projectile. And some friends of mine's rifles, that 264 shoots great. In my 6.5 Carcanos, that 264 shoots absolutely terrible. So what I'm actually picked up recently is a 270 diameter bullet mold. 270. Okay. It only has to go down a couple thou. I'm right where I should be. So
interesting. Okay.
So there's a lot of variables, and that's the great thing about Cerrosafe. It's a great product, and you see how small the block is. You can see it's about the size of my hand. It's a nice piece of just to have on the bench because you never know when you're going to need it.
Mosins are like that too, aren't
Mosins are pretty known for being loose tolerance bores. There's just a ton of old military surplus that turn of the 1900s can have those very interesting.
A lot of wildcats too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's like my dad was saying. If you find where somebody took a old military surplus, but the chamber, the bore diameter doesn't look quite right, it's good to have this where you can just throw it in the chamber. Oh, for instance, like Arasakas are known for this. I don't know why, and you know where I'm going with this. 257 Roberts. I don't know why that is. I see Arasakas and 257 Roberts all the time. So that's just a nice thing. And I've seen them where they're complete looking rifles, but they've been rechambered at 257 Roberts. I'm not sure.
Is that a new barrel too?
I've even seen it with original barrels, which is weird on how they did it. I don't know how they did it. It's just some weird, interesting things. But no, it's just it's a good product.
That would make it interesting. A 257 Roberts and a
yeah. Even though the Arasaka action is one of the strongest actions ever produced. Who was that? Who tested that after the war?
Hatcher.
I think it was Julian Hatcher. I think you're right. Yeah, he did those, and I think they got up to was it 100,000 psi or something like that?
I'm not sure.
It was some incredible high number. But yeah, they're strong. Same way with the 1917 action. Super strong. There's all sorts of heavy, large magnum calibers.
Nick, what's the bore diameter nominal bore diameter on the Arasaka?
Depends. So they have the 6.5 Jap round or the 6.5 Japanese. And then they had the 7.7 Japanese. 6.5 would be 264. Okay. And then the 7.7 is 0.312. So same like your
257 Roberts. Well, 257 Roberts would probably go through the 264 barrel. No trouble at all.
Most of my see them are the Type 38 rifles, is what I see.
Okay.
Yeah. You might know this. That.
What?
You know Brunel hardness. Burnell hardness.
Take a look.
It's not soft enough to like scrape it with your finger.
You cannot.
I can't at least. Can you?
Okay, it's harder than 7.
It's harder than 7.
The nice thing about Cerrosafe is, though, it shrinks just a little bit, enough to get it out after you pour it in there.
Correct.
Um,
And we have some tricks that we do when we Cerrosafe just to prevent it from. It takes an extra step so you don't have to really force it out. So we take a couple extra little tricks and steps just to be that extra precautionary. Not like,
it doesn't state what the Burnell is.
it's not crazy soft, so it's not like you said.
I don't
you
think
can't
it's-
scrape it because it's not 7.
It feels fairly hard, but it's
Yeah.
the low melting point.
So I'm sitting here and I'm trying to bend it,
Yeah, I can't bend it either.
and you can't bend it.
Yeah, so it's not.
it's
So
hard.
it's not lead soft.
No, it's not
It-
lead soft.
it-
It's a very interesting alloy.
Probably, I'd ballpark it about aluminum.
It's got a Burnell of 9.
9. There we go.
Okay. Well, then no, because I think aluminum's higher than that. So never mind.
Yeah,
But
it's an interesting metal to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
There's
and,
the chemical at the top one here.
There we go. So here's what Cerrosafe is made out of. It's 42.5% bismuth, 37.7% lead, 11.3% tin, and 8.5% candium. Canadium?
Canadium.
Canadium?
Never heard of that one.
I've not heard of that one either.
Got a melting point of between 158 and 190 Fahrenheit.
That's exactly what it says in the box.
vanadium or cadmium?
Cadmium.
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 Yeah, cadmium.
Ooh.
Expansion rate of 0.04 after 2 minutes of casting.
So my camera is still not working, so I'm not going to be able to show squat. So that's up to you guys tonight, I guess.
Sounds good. Yeah, I know. Is mine still in the background? We just got to flip over whenever we're ready. Okay. All right. So yeah, nice. That's a great thing. There's so many uses for Cerrosafe. For most projects, this is probably all the big you're going to need. Probably about 1/2 inch.
We probably won't use a quarter.
We probably really won't even use most of that, especially with the pistol chamber. If you're using a rifle chamber, you're going to use quite a bit more. But so the first thing you do,
What did you use to cut that chunk off?
we just use the hacksaw.
Okay.
That's all we used. So first thing we do, we take your chamber.
Yeah, let me put to the other camera.
If you want to put that. So first thing, we take the bore or the barrel, and then I take about 3 or 4 patches. The top ones grease with just regular axle grease that we use all around the bench hen house. And then what I do is I take the grease portion, put that towards the
Push it
muzzle,
through 2 or 3 times,
and then you push it through.
You may have to take a patch off if it's too many.
Yeah, I'll take that bottom off just to be safe. Man, even that.
You may only need 1 patch. You may only need one.
So yeah, you all just got depends on how many you're going to need.
What's your
Some need
bore?
more, some need less. There we go.
Run it through.
So we always just run it through once, and then
Like that. Spread it out flat again.
Yep.
Then. Now watch where you're going.
And then you always want to, I always try to look down as best as I can and try to get it just to where, on this barrel, right to where it tapers. So that's try to where I go on this one at least.
So, how much of the rifling are you getting, you think?
This one, what would you say? I'm probably going to do it right there.
Probably between 1/8 and 1/4 inch of the rifle.
Okay.
So yeah, on this one, I'll get a little bit of the rifling so we can measure the rifling. So it's not going to show up, but the patch is down in there. So it's making a nice blockage for when you do Cerrosafe.
A dam. Making
It
a
makes
dam.
that dam. Plus, it's already at a cooling point, so whenever that does hit it, it's going to start its cooling process on the Cerrosafe.
Yeah, let me get some of that excess off.
Next step, what we do, and this just helps prevent the Cerrosafe from sticking in the chamber, we just take a Q-tip with a little bit more of that grease and just grease the chamber. It just helps prevent it not from sticking, and you're going to get a nice clean cast. So that's that.
That's good. Just
All right. So then,
good mount your vise.
next thing we do, we mount in our vise. All right.
Dude,
So the
just
next
get
thing,
it warm. You don't have to.
take your propane torch.
There you go.
And just get the chamber warm a little bit.
Yeah. Stop. Good. You just want it warm enough so you can barely touch it. Go all the way around. Right now. A little bit more. That's good. That's good. Let that sit now. You
Okay.
get this one cooking.
So then you take, we use one of the Lyman ladles. You can use an old spoon. I just like this because it has a nice pouring on the end, spout on the end. So it's a nice, easy pour into the chamber.
Yeah, that would be a lot better. A couple of things that were mentioned in the chat. So Jeff Daniels said expands when heated, shrinks when cooled, and then re-expands to the hot dimensions after cooling. Six-pack project added that second part. So basically,
Okay.
what we wanted to make clear is that it shrinks a little bit after you pour it. As it's cooling, it shrinks a little bit, but then it actually expands to the correct.
Yeah.
All right. So I normally would do it away from the barrel, especially on mine because I have these plastic vice jaws. But what I'm going to do for this one, so you guys can see it, is
No.
it's hard to do.
Once it starts to melt, it we can peel it off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm watching it melt, and you're not even hitting it that much.
So
So you can see it's
molten already.
it's already molted. So
Yeah, doesn't take a lot. What are you doing, Ray?
What's that?
heat the barrel back up.
Getting the barrel warm again. Okay, go ahead.
So then you just
Slap it all over the place, why don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's full.
nope.
Is it not seeping through? I think you're missing. That's what you're doing.
It's
Hey, nobody
going
said-
down.
Nobody said the kid's aim was good.
Well, it's running past.
It's running. Well, I know why there's that notch in the side, but that'll get me.
Okay. Yeah, you're beyond that.
I have a notch on the side of the barrel here. It's my extractor notch, so it's beyond that, or it's coming higher, so it's overflowing down onto here. But you'll see here in a second. So you let that sit, and I can already
Wait till
touch this stuff here on the back because it's already cool to the touch. So yeah,
should peel right
yeah,
off.
should just peel right off, and just like that. So it doesn't hurt or anything, and so
Recycle all
you
that.
let that sit, and then what a lot of people do, everybody has their preferences. Okay, still a little molten here. A lot of people, they let it sit, and then they reheat the barrel a little bit more to allow it to really get a good cast. It depends on the person. For this, I'm not necessarily going to do that. If you want a nice, real, consistent chamber cast, you can do that. But yeah, have to wipe those off.
We will.
But yeah, just let that sit a little longer, and usually they say about five so minutes. But no, it's as you saw how easy it is. It's a super easy, quick process. And yeah, nice thing about this, you just kind of throw this in a little Ziploc bag with the rest of your other material. And the nice thing, if I had another one to do, I could just take this nice big scrap put it right back in my little ladle, and I'm ready to go for the next one. So,
And you're supposed to remove the plug within a half an hour.
so we'll let it go for about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, cool enough to handle.
But any other questions while that's cooling off, or?
It's a fast process.
Mm-hmm.
That, once you get it prepared, and using the grease patch to put it in is giving you a little bit of help in the release of the patch.
Correct. The nice thing about it is if you are really wanting to get a nice casting of those lands and grooves, it creates that buffer to where you're not going to smash the end of that cast to punch those out even more. So like now, when we do punch it out, we'll just push it with this nice end section, and it's just going to get a nice push out right through. And so,
in other words, there's no beating on it like you would with lead.
it's still wet up there on top. So
is it okay?
Yeah.
It'll cool quick.
Yep.
That stuff on top, the vice, cool.
How long do you typically let it sit before you try and drive it out? A full half hour, or?
I don't usually go the full half hour. I try to go at least 5-10 minutes, depending on. So like now it's starting to set up a little bit on top. I could probably do it now.
No, let it solidify.
No, it's not quite solidified yet. Normally what I do is if I can see into the chamber, I try to just tap on it. And if it's still got that little bit of wiggle, I let it sit. So like it still has that little bit of wiggle, I let it sit.
See, there ain't a lot of mass there, so we probably overheated the barrel just a little bit.
But
so because of the how cool it is and the mass of the barrel, it stays hotter longer.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
and this is a pretty thick barrel wall on this pistol barrel. So it's got the thickness of the barrel, and then on the back here, it's got some lugs that actually this barrel rotates into the frame. It's an old Swedish Husqvarna pistol. So it's got even thicker lugs on the back here. So it's a thicker chambered wall. So it's going to take a little longer. But as you can see, we can already start cleaning up our little bit of excess pieces. And so.
Yeah, but you want to leave it in the upright in your
Correct.
barrel.
Yeah, you want to always leave it upright. Yeah. Get it that full time, allow it to do its thing, and that's what's nice about having a nice big vise is always great for that.
Plus, having those nice vice jaws are
correct. Yeah, these are nice. If anybody, these are just ones from Menards. You can get all sorts anywhere. Eventually, I'm gonna probably get the Brownell set, but this one came with as a Christmas gift with this vise, so I was like, it'll work good for now. But eventually, when I start doing more projects, the new Brownells ones that they're releasing are really nice. So, but
well, the old-fashioned way was to use a piece of.
I like that.
So we're very close. So you can see, I can even probably. The barrel's still a little warm.
Yeah, cool.
The old way, a gunsmith was a big, heavy pieces of felt, as vice jaws.
Yeah. Or leather.
Yep.
So, so I don't know what happened there. We lost your camera, guys.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get it back.
Playing with things.
No, I'm trying to get the thing to work.
So, over on Rumble, Toothless Jeers asked, I'm completely new to reloading. How do you measure your chamber to determine bullet jump to the lands? I apologize, that's way off topic. And so my response was is that's an advanced step. So if you're completely new to reloading, as you're saying, my first question to you would be: have you loaded any cartridges? What reloading equipment do you have? What are you planning on loading for? And that's both part cartridge and purpose. So Toothless Jeers did respond. I'm in the process of loading 45 ACP for the first time for practice, but I plan on loading 223 and 22 250 for coyote hunting. So, and so then he went on to explain what he's got. And I said, okay, what we are talking about is exactly what you need to get that distance. So, and basically, you know, as we're going, that is exactly what he needs is to do the Cerrosafe chamber casting and, you know, run it down into the, you know, what he would probably do. Now, did you go right to the end of the lands and grooves, or did you leave a little bit?
I went right about here.
Okay.
I got
wasn't paying attention.
I should have a little bit of chamber or bore, so we should have lands and grooves.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly wasn't paying attention at that point in time because I was trying to get my camera working so I could show a rifle chamber at the same time, but that didn't work. So
as you can see, what my dad's doing here, he got a nice cold paper towel.
Not cold.
No, well, just lukewarm towel. And then so he's now just going through, wiping out down the barrel, kind of trying to finish that cool process.
He's gently stroking it with a washcloth. Come on. You should know by now, don't do stuff like that in front of me.
Unless you don't think it's solidified yet.
I think it's done. I'm not seeing any movement on top. If you look, it's even got that color.
Okay, good.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Could you, you know, say I got welding gloves for casting and for other things. Could I have taken that out right away and put it in, say, ice or water?
That I don't know.
Oh,
or is that a bad
my
thing to do?
fear is if this is already heated up your barrel,
Yes.
you're going to crack it.
Okay.
That's my fear. Don't hold me to that. But
well, that's why I asked, because that would be my thought too. Is you would cause damage to the barrel at least.
But do it on camera.
So, if you want to switch back to the other camera, Mike. Well, or
hang on.
If you want to do it right here. So now we just slowly tap that out.
Hang on.
Maybe.
We have to do this the other way.
So for this situation, since it's not going to work for us quite right, we just turn it upside down.
Put your hand underneath. Put it down low. Where'd that rubber mallet go? Hang on. I got it. We're fine. Come here. You got a mallet?
Yeah.
Hold your hand underneath so it's not bouncing off the floor.
Dead blow hammer.
Hang on. There you go. There we go.
Yeah, you kind of got to make sure that you're going to clear the bottom of the vise because you don't want to drive that Cerrosafe right into the vise. That wouldn't work out well.
All right. So,
hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Does that Jaws attachment that you've got there from Maynard's, does that have the Maynard's part number on it?
I can just send you a link.
Because I want to put that in the show notes.
Yep, I can just send you a link. It's on the website, so.
And I may have to go shopping. Woohoo.
But there's your chamber cast.
Okay.
So you can see this is a smaller cartridge.
Can you get it on the other? Can
Yep.
we switch over? And all right. Okay, so we see where the case extends.
Yep.
There, and then we see the free bore, and then we see where the rifling is. And is that a bottleneck case?
It is not actually.
It
That's
is
actually
not. Okay.
This light gray portion is actually where the bullet should be.
Okay.
Hey guys, hold up 1 second.
That's a 9mm, right?
Ray, do you double putting your flashlight on that casting so we can
Light
actually
that
see?
casting up.
Yep, hang on.
You bet. A little bit of light on it will help a lot.
Would you get you a dial indicator
am.
one? That's why I hate battery operating tools.
Yeah, but he's cheap, so he likes the battery operated. Don't you have an honest to God flashlight?
Not out here, I don't.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Dude, you should flashlights and
Wow.
knives are one of those things where you should buy like 300 of them.
I guarantee you, he's got 4 of them in the cushions of his couch.
No, I don't.
Knives or flashlights?
Both.
Both. So,
Is there any change in small children in there?
Oh yeah, he's got.
so
We were going to measure the diameter stuff, but his
hang on.
caliper won't power up.
Slap it.
Relying on batteries again. Relying on
No.
batteries.
No micrometer?
Yeah, he don't have a micrometer.
Oh, we got to take a fund up so we can get him a micrometer.
He makes good money.
I know. Tell him to stop buying guns and buy the things
God
you need.
no. I will never do that.
Thank you. There we go.
So NPC Oasis said, looks smoky in there, or you just got grease on your lens.
Well, we're in the garage and the humidity's.
It is a little hazy.
It's been 87
It's-
degrees here.
It's humid.
It's humid.
That's
So
not
it's-
going to be accurate because of
True.
the way it kept.
Yes, and this is a bad example because the way my chamber is, you can see on the back
extractor.
is the extractor groove. So
Mhm.
normally when you would cast it, you would cast all the way up to the top.
So
but
what you're
being this
saying
way-
is you didn't plan for that gap.
I did not. Correct. And the nice thing about it, you're
Oh.
going to get an idea. I
Here's a
fortunately
question,
knew the
though.
caliber. So
With the lower temperature, melting temperature, is that something you could put, like, say, duct tape over and possibly
I
not have
guarantee
the
there's
duct
ways
tape
you
melt?
can figure it out.
You could probably.
I'm
put-
talking actual honest to God duct tape, not like Gorilla tape and all the rest. I'm talking like the actual stuff you use for heating ducts. The silver tape.
myself. I probably would have wrapped that upper part of the barrel in aluminum foil, then put a hose clamp around it.
That would
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, then the hose clamp, the aluminum foil will act as a dam on the side there. And
This is
Yeah,
one
I'm
of the
just
barrels I
I'm
know
just spitballing to because those questions will come up when people watch this.
this is like I said, this is one of the only barrels I know that is like that. That's just that way that pistol design, and you can see here these lugs.
What's that out of?
This is out of a Swedish 1907 Husqvarna. So what this does is when this goes in your slide, what it does is there's another set of jaws here in the frame, and these rotate and lock into those jaws on the frame.
So what you're saying is you should use a
Locking
staple
lugs.
gun barrel.
Yeah, you could use. You could
Here's
use so many
here's
different.
a staple gun barrel.
Yeah, I could have used the Glock barrel. It would have been a lot better. Yeah, you're gonna have a better cast on a Glock barrel chamber.
Yeah.
So
Just-
But the original cartridge for these was a 9x20 millimeter, which is like a
Huh?
9 millimeter long, like a 9 millimeter long almost. So it's a little longer than a regular 9 mil. When they were brought into the U.S., these were rebarreled to 380. So that is actually a 380 chamber cast,
and what is another name for 380?
9x17 Kursts.
Kurtz. Yep. So with Bass Pro or Cabela's, whatever you want to call it, for when we're listing the cartridge and all the rest of the information for the firearms when we buy them, we can only list what's literally engraved or stamped on the steel. And so I bought a PPS the other day, and I really, really wanted to put 9mm Kurtz on that.
Jeff Daniels, that is not a staple gun barrel. That is a SIG P239 barrel.
In what cartridge?
9mm.
So 239, is that one of the ones you can get all the different goofy cartridges for? Is 239 just straight 9?
9, and I think they made a 40 for it, but everybody that all the ones I've ever seen have been 9mm.
Because I know there's one SIG. You can actually get the 400 Corbon barrel for.
Not this one. This is only a it's only a 3-inch little
Yeah.
3-inch gun. I mean,
Oh, that little stupid thing.
yeah.
God, I hate those.
Oh, I love it. It's a great carry gun.
355.
Yeah.
The bullet diameter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Maybe this is back to the original.
Huh?
Maybe this one, somebody took it back to the original caliber.
What was the original caliber?
This 9x20
Is it? What's that say it should be?
bullet diameter 0.357.
He's
You're fucking.
380 is
Well, you
going to
got
be
it.
all over the place. 380 is going to be 356, 357.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the weird thing is.
Looking at the opening, you need to look right here. Bullet diameter.
Oh, then we're there. We're there.
Okay.
We're there.
I was like, don't get me scared, sir.
I was looking at the wrong thing.
It's stamped 380 on the gun.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I measured his calibers fading in and out. And I got 355, and that's what 380.
That's across the grooves.
Correct.
So just to cover, what are the lands and what are the grooves?
I don't know if you can show them on there. It's
All right. So,
The lands, okay.
They're not- and it's hard to see. They're not very deep lands and grooves on this.
No,
barrel.
not on a pistol.
Yeah,
not
this one's
typically.
very narrow.
But what I'm saying is we should explain that to the folks.
Okay, if you're looking at a barrel down with a bore
it's
scope,
355.
the lands are going to be sticking out into the bore. The grooves are going to be going back. So, and then what we're doing here
I'm just gonna
is
see
we're
that.
looking at the reverse of that. So the
Correct.
lands are the inside part, and the grooves are the outside of the
Put it right over the little camera.
barrel. So every ridge that is in that
Right there,
barrel,
Nick. Right there, Nick.
every
Right there.
ridge that is in that barrel is a land, and in between each land is the groove.
Yep. So it is a 380.
It's the 380, which would be correct for this gun. This gun, as of right now, I plan on eventually taking it back to the original caliber, but that's not high on my list.
I wouldn't.
And I didn't pay a lot for this pistol. I only paid $50. I picked it up at a garage sale.
I don't know if I can.
Helps if I unmute myself. So what we're looking at is the barrel that. Why the heck? Okay, so there. The barrel that I was going to do, which is a 6.5 by 284. And so when we talk about a shot out barrel, that's what we're kind of talking about. Paul, you want to explain what they're looking at right now?
Well, they are kind of looking at what happens when a barrel has been burnt badly. You're seeing the effects of the heat that has burnt the lands and fire cracked the interior of the barrel. Best I can put it there.
So as we go down further, and I don't have a nice rigid one to run down. I've got the softer one. So it kind of bounces sometimes. But as you go down, you can see how
The lands are coming back into view, and you're starting to get a
Now I
view
haven't-
of the.
I
Yeah.
have not cleaned this barrel. So this is exactly how Ken gave it to me.
Okay.
I wonder if that's dust buildup though. So as we're running it down, I mean, you can't really tell at this point in time because you can kind of tell. And you can see my finger down at the end of the barrel, making it red. So as we get down to the end of the barrel, then you can kind of see it a little better again. This would be where, like, say, Nick's fancy camera would really come in handy, and Paul's fancy camera would come in handy with, especially if they've got the 90-degree mirror. So, like, Paul just went and grabbed his. So,
I don't know if you can see that in this one here.
you got to edge your camera.
Oh, sorry about that.
So I was using the Endo Snake camera is what I was using. So.
This one here is a lauded barrel. It does not have the same type of lands and grooves. It's more like a triangular type barrel.
Yeah.
You can see there and there, and then grab another one real quick. This is a Lands and Groove barrel here. Let me see if I can get this one bigger.
If you hit your Control Plus, Paul, I think it'll zoom that whole screen.
All right. Let's see what happens here. No.
They said your scope's 32.
I'm trying, guys.
It's all good.
All right.
That's pretty good definition on those lands and grooves, Paul.
Thank you, sir. Take this down to the chamber. And
wow,
you can see the where the chamber.
What's their cross marking right above? Go back a little bit, Paul. That cross marking I saw. No, up higher. On the screen up higher, maybe down lower for you. Yeah, it's right. It's right. Yep, that right there. That's exactly what I saw.
That's where the chamber begins. You
Oh,
have
okay.
the hard part right there where the case is, and then this is in a 22 long rifle, so would all be from the heel of the bullet right there,
Okay.
and going to the where the lands are cut in part of the chamber, and the lead, which is on this one is 1.5 degrees, is cut there. So
I can tell it's well cared for. It's also highly polished. You put a lot of lead through that barrel.
there's been a few rounds through this, yeah.
Highly
That's,
polished and well cared for.
and then we go to come on. Sorry guys, just not
That looks like
straight enough.
threads to me.
It is. There's a muzzle brake on that. And here you are in the newest toy that I'm playing with is a 6 GT, and there's where the case stops there. There's where the free bore is, and the lead is cut, and there are the lands. So, and the gentleman that was asking about how does he determine where the um, how far it is to seat the bullet off the lands as a beginning reloader, and depending upon what type of firearm you're loading for, because you're limited with some guns by the magazine length as far as how far you can be out. Um,
I'm guessing on that 22-250, he might be looking at single loading, but I'm not sure.
yeah. Um, you want you want to be able to be, as we would put it, 20 thousandths off the lands. So the lands start at the bottom of the scope there. Okay, then you got the lead, and then the free bore. So the lands is where it's going to be the hard stop on the bullet, and then you're going to come back 20 thousandths off of that. Now I'm going to switch here, guys, in a second, or we can knock that one off. Okay, now, excuse me. Trying to find.
So, Clifford Zach asked, "Is it possible to wear out a 22 long rifle barrel?" At least I'm guessing that's what he was supposed to write. It appears he had some voice to text problems. That's what I'm going to blame it on. Blame it on technology and not the fact that he couldn't spell. But is it possible to wear out a 22 long rifle barrel shooting lead bullets? You know,
Yes, it's a mechanical device. You shoot 50,000 rounds to it, you're probably going to wear it out.
I,
That's 100
no,
bricks.
no, you won't.
It's hard. It's hard to wear out a 22 long rifle barrel. What you
I
can do is you can over clean it.
Yep.
You can use a
What
poorly
you
made.
can do
Go ahead.
you can over clean it. Yep.
Use a poorly made cleaning kit. Um, Cleaning kit that's made with aluminum rods.
Yeah,
And
that
we all,
gouges the barrel and stuff like that. You can screw up
yeah,
the you can screw up the crown.
yeah.
Jim, the reason I said no is because I have a 1022 that I personally have put over 50,000 rounds through. And it's still a tech driver.
No
So
worries.
that's why I said that. I just wanted to clarify that. So
I knew you weren't
um
being discourteous, but I also wasn't going to argue with you.
right, but I just wanted to clear it up and also kind of explain it for others is, now, some of the old gallery guns. I mean, modern steel, it'd be really hard. Like some of the old gallery guns and anything basically made before the end of before
This is an
1950.
oscillating multi-tool, and it is one of the
Stupid ads. So
Um,
um when you get that older lower quality steel, it could be it's kind of hard. The reason you usually wear out a barrel is one of two reasons. um the main reason is shooting too hot of loads and your powder is actually burning in the lands and grooves.
Also, the unburned kernels will have sandblasting effect.
Right. You know. Um and
Shooting, that's more along the lines of shooting too fast. Okay, overheating the barrel.
yeah, a hot load. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean a hot load over like say that your load is you're shooting a 4,000 plus per
Hmm.
second load. A lot of times you're getting unburnt powder into the barrel, and that's causing that damage that we saw on the barrel I showed off.
Well,
Uh,
you're what you're
Part of it.
getting. What you're getting mostly in that is the barrel. The powder is still burning while it's going into the barrel.
Right.
Okay, so it's not that it's unburnt powder. It's powder is burning in the barrel, and it's causing heat cracks and the barrel to eat itself, basically. In other
Yeah.
words, it's getting really, really hot, and the Jim knows that you can carburize the steel, all right, and it will um, what we call is alligator,
Oh
and
yeah.
then that allows even more heat to get into the barrel, and it starts to it will actually get to the point where it'll break chunks off.
Yeah, because it's
Yep.
Right.
essentially for. I mean, it's not completely, but to kind of explain it, it basically softens the steel essentially. So then um, it as as that's coming through, it's then the steel is soft, so it's allowing it to rip chunks off. So
Right.
you're not talking chunks you can see, gang, with a naked eye. Let's clear that up. You're not talking. It's not ripping off chunks you could see with a naked eye. It's more like, say, brass file. It's more like when you're trimming your brass and you got your little filings laying all over. It's even smaller than that stuff.
Yes, finer than that. The thing is, Mike, like Paul said, alligator cracking or alligator skin. It's like
Mhm.
the dry lake bed cracks that you see in the mud, surface of the mud.
Right.
Something that looks a lot like that, except much, 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 much finer. Nearly microscopic.
Right.
In fact, we're looking at probably 20 power magnification right here in Paul's borescope.
Hmm.
You can
You can
actually
kind
see
of
the
see. Yeah,
individual
you can kind of see it there.
tool. You can see the tool marks from the gun drill that drilled out the bore. That drilled
Yeah,
out
but
the
there's
diameter at the lands.
there. You can start seeing it on this barrel right there. There's fire cracking right there along the edge.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, see
It's
that
not
right
quite
there?
alligator skin yet, but it's coming.
Yeah. And
So
this
it's
is in a 308,
okay.
and it's
Boy, there's some cracking right there, Paul. Right there on the left of the board. Right there on the left of the flash. To the reflection. The
So is
bulbous.
that just
Yep.
from the amount of rounds you put down the barrel?
oh yeah,
Jacketed bullets.
yeah.
Okay.
This one's had over 5,000 rounds through it.
Because that was what I was going to say is number 2 is the amount of jacketed bullets. The reason it's hard to do with a 22 is because it's lead. More often than not, it's a very soft lead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were shooting copper coated, and that's all you were shooting, it's possible. But at the same time, what's your fastest? I mean, if you're shooting hyper velocity, you're talking 1,500 feet per second. So it's kind of
Right.
hard to get a projectile in a 22 long rifle that is
No,
moving fast enough.
Mike, the thing is too, you don't buy 22 ammo, 22 long rifle ammo with jackets. It's got a copper wash on the bullet, yes, but
Right.
not even copper plating. It's more like a copper wash. 22 the jackets are 22 Hornet, or not 22 Hornet, 22 Magnum. That's where you start getting in jacketed bullets.
It's hard to find a jacketed bullet in 22 mag anymore either.
I don't doubt that.
So
I don't
most
know
of those are
22 Mag.
straight lead. So, um,
Looks like Nelson's got something on screen.
mhm.
This one is going. Um, you
Yeah,
can
what are
see
those marks there, Paul?
uh, these are heat. You see the cracking in there. You can
Wow.
see, yeah. This
Looks
one is
massive from
going,
here.
and if you go up here,
Yep, I see it.
you know. But yeah, this
Alligator
one is
skin.
right. This one is going as far as I'm concerned. It
No,
is.
you,
It's got some rust in there too, but that's to be considered what it when I bought it. But it was
that's rust right there.
yeah, it was it's a Winchester Model 70 in 22 250 that I bought, and I have a barrel for it. I just haven't gotten around to putting it on.
The thing is, what we're trying to say here, folks, is this what you use Cerrosafe for. One of the purposes for Cerrosafe. It can detect imperfection and cracks up in the chamber like that,
Right.
up in the lead in the beginning of the rifling.
So Six
But
Pack Project kind of summed it up. He said, in short, it makes a layer of mill scale that slowly replaces the steel and flakes away.
mm-hmm. Yes.
So
Yes.
Like the scale on hot roll steel.
mhm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Clifford shooting lead bullets? No, you're not. I mean, you're potentially. I mean, potentially, if you shot, say, 3 or 400,000 rounds, I could see um potential just because of over, anything you run that much off, and even lead, you're going to have some sort of effect on it. So I mean,
300K,
theoretically,
Mike? 300K? I would think your lockwork would wear out before that.
Well, come on, guys. That M1A that we looked at the barrel on, that's got 5,000 rounds through that barrel. The barrel
hmm
before it had about 15,000 rounds through it. The
Well,
action is not worn out. It's just worn out. It's just getting to the point where it's wearing out.
well,
So,
I'd agree with Jim that 3 or 400,000 rounds out of a 22, and especially if it's a bolt, you're gonna wear that down. Um, if it's a semi-auto, maybe not. But I mean, on a bolt action, you're gonna
that
wear the
kind
lugs down.
no, the lugs are the same in a semi-auto or in a bolt action. It don't matter. Okay, the lugs are there.
they're
If you
both going to
think
wear
you're
out. Doesn't matter. Semi-bolt. They're both kinds are going to wear out with that much ammunition to it. But that's not the average shooter. That's not even us the average reloaders. Most of us shoot 100K in a lifetime, and that's it.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, you're talking like the old gallery guns.
Right.
But when I was doing research for a customer, um, Remington had one of the old Model 12Cs that had a verified, or somebody had come across one of the Remington 12Cs that had a verified million rounds,
yeah.
and everything was still original, other than the
I'm
extractor and the firing pin and the springs. So,
the Remington used to have a demonstration guy out there that used to shoot hand thrown wooden blocks with a nylon 66.
yeah,
Okay. And, he would put, 100,000 rounds through his gun every year.
yep,
Because he would go out and he would shoot 1,000 rounds of 22 and hand thrown blocks and not miss.
yeah.
And, this was, you know, when I was a youngster is when he was doing this kind of stuff. And, everybody wanted to get, the nylon 66 from Remington.
Well, see, that's a story I've never heard, so that kind of does explain part of the mystique. I mean, if you look at a nylon 66 on its own standing, it's okay.
Hmm.
But now that and maybe 100 years, or 60 or 70 years from now, people are going to look at the 1022 like that. What was the big deal about this?
Yeah.
Um, but but that's kind of a cool story. So
Yeah, I can
And,
verify what Paul said on that story too.
um, but as a kid growing up, we'd go out and see these guys, and Winchester had their shooting team out there, and
uh-huh.
the Model 12s. I mean, that they come out there with their Model 12 that's was built in 1924, and just pulverized targets all day long, and
Hmm.
um, wearing out the guns didn't really happen. I mean, yeah, if I want to sit down and shoot 70,000 psi loads every day, I'm gonna wear the lugs out. But on a 22, if I take care of it, if I take care of the action, clean it uh, the right way, clean the lugs, the
Hmm.
recesses for the lugs out and everything else, grease it. How many people grease the lugs on their bolts? I mean,
Not me.
I do. I do. They're
So
just very light, coating of grease on there, and
yeah.
that's what they want. Uh, my M1A, it lives on grease. Okay, if you don't
Well,
grease
yeah.
it, it ain't gonna work.
Nope.
There you go. Six pack project. Tom Fry. 72,501 blocks in 12 days with a nylon 66.
Holy crap.
What,
And I thought what Tom Knapp was doing was impressive.
yeah.
Wow.
That's
I am blessed
144
though.
bricks of ammo. That's 144 bricks of ammo.
Yeah.
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 God.
That's a lot of now I'm wondering if he was shooting thunderbolts or golden bullets. Probably goldens.
Shut up, Mike. God. Talk about splitting hairs.
Well,
Oh.
you shoot 500 rounds of thunderbolt and see what you think.
All
I
right.
think it's
As
time to
far
clean
as
my guns. What I think.
the gentleman looking to find the lands and grooves, he can get one of these from Hornady and the case, and he can actually use this to stick it into the chamber of the gun and push the rod. Let's see here. Um, there we go. And I can push the bullet back and forth by adjusting the rod. Come to the point, can take my calipers and measure from the base of the case to the tip of the bullet, and I know where my lands and grooves are going to be with that bullet.
Okay.
Each bullet was going to be different, but each different type of bullet you're using is going to be different from
Yeah.
manufacturer or whatever.
Yeah. He said he's on some crappy internet, so he's gonna watch this full thing tomorrow when he's got better signal. But so that'll be another thing. What's that? What is that? And
This one is a Stony Point. I mean, that's how old this one is. Hornady bought it, and they have um, cartridges that cases that you buy that are
so that's what those
um,
stupid cases are for. I've always wondered.
right. Yeah, they come off. They're threaded on the inside,
Yeah.
um, and you buy the case. The case fits into the chamber,
Now, does the case come
and
with the appropriate size projectile too?
no, the projectile you get. You have to buy
Okay.
the rod. You buy the rod. You buy the case, and then the bullet is the one that you're going to load with. So you
Okay.
can use it to adjust it in there to load with it.
Okay.
So that's
Another way to measure.
another way to measure.
Okay.
Uh, all
Alrighty.
right.
Uh,
Yeah, that's right. They don't.
I wonder how much Hornady. I wonder how much brass Hornady actually makes.
Um, Hornady was getting brass from for 223 from Lake City. Hornady was getting brass from Arms Corps. Um, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I have some Hornady brass that was made by Arms Corps, marked Hornady, and M223. So alpha cases, they're using alpha cases because they don't make a BR case in Hornady.
Hey Jim,
They
what's that
are,
on your hat? Oh, sorry, Paul. I thought you were done.
yeah, I'm done. That's
Oh,
okay. Uh-oh. Attack of the Gun Grabbers.
that is the October patch of the month. from Patriot Patch Company. And Jim's muted. Can I unmute him? Nope. He muted himself. So anyway, he's showing off the sticker now. And then also you get the drawing. So that's from Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co. They have been a long sponsor of the podcast. They also make some cool stuff like, let's see if I can point it out. Nope, the plant's in the way. Plus you can't really see it with this camera angle. But anyway, so some of the other cool stuff they make is right there. That's a little mat, magnetic mat that you can put your patches on. So, and so you can swing over to our podcast page, and you can join up there to be a Patch of the Month Club member and help out the podcast. Our podcast page is firearmsradio.net/ my computer's slow. I'm just kidding. Firearmsradio.net/category/podcast/reloading -2. Don't ask. I don't know. It's a Sean thing. And then if you click on support the show, it takes you to the Patreon page where you can sign up to be a Patch of the Month Club member and then support the show as well. Otherwise, you can just go to Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co, and sign up directly there. So, and go from there. So, excuse me. Billy was saying you could make your own modified cases as well with the proper drill and tap. So if you don't want to buy Hornets Ace, you can buy the tool still, find out what the threads are, drill out your end of your case, and then you can go ahead and tap that and with a tap and die set. And there you go.
I've never had to tap a base of a case.
So, no, we're just talking to use the Hornets Ace tool that Paul's got.
Ah, I'm lying through my teeth, and everybody that listens to this podcast and the old timers know I am.
Well, of course, because you've stuck cases, so you've had to tap it to get it unstuck.
You damn right I am.
I was just going to wait and see if you
damn-
actually admitted it or if you're going to continue rolling with that bullshit.
No, no, that's why I switched from Lee White Lube to pure, straight, pharmaceutical grade lanolin. Directly from
Yeah, I bet you're
Lambsville,
using some
Sheepsport.
other pharmaceutical stuff, grade stuff too, while you got that stuck, huh? Weren't you? Yeah, that's right. We were.
Well, no, leave my sex habits out of it, Mike. Let's get this show wrapped up. I'm turning kind of pink in here.
All right, so Camerado's been a sponsor of the show for a bit. You go to camerado.com, you can see all the different styles. And then also while you're at our page, you can click on buy our merch because you see Jim rocking that awesome Reloading Podcast shirt, and you see Paul rocking his, and you see me rocking mine, and Nick rocking his. And on the back, it says The Anatomy of a Pew. Let me blow that up a little bit. So you can see
There you go, Paul.
metal holder thingy, bang button, magic fire dust, and freedom seeds. So you too can get your own Reloading Podcast t-shirt. If you, like I said, you go to our webpage and then you click on buy our merch, it takes you over to Southern Gals Crafts. Otherwise, you can go to Southern Gals. You can Google Southern Gals Crafts and then Google Reloading Podcast, and it'll take you there too. It's kind of the roundabout way to do it, but and you can get the shirts, you can get the tumblers, like a decent one. See, comes in 3 different styles. This one is the extruded powder. It also comes with a brass one and then a American flag. And frankly, the American flag is the coolest.
Amen to that. Sharon and I both have one of those.
So, also can koozies, also hoodies. And then if you want to laugh at the ATF, we've also got defund the ATF and
Amen to that.
and an ATF review T-shirt or hoodie also. So lots of different sizes. Check them out. Also, as I was going to say with Camerado, there's a bunch of different size options and clothing options there. So make sure you check them all out. So, but Jeff Daniels was saying from Copper Creek, you can get the modified cases as well, and you can actually get it ordered with a projectile. So, but yeah, fall might be here sometime in the next week or two. So, good time to go get a hoodie. I got to order me one up. So, but, um, but we're grateful to everybody that has ordered merch. Thank you very much. So, all right, gang. Anybody got any shout outs?
Well,
I want to give a shout out to Nick and Ray for taking the time to do the Cerrosafe and get that all set up. So,
No problem.
but
Don't forget to go vote. That's my shout out.
yep. By the time we reconvene, it will be election night.
Tuesday. We're going to podcast on that night, Mike? We're going
I
to
don't
take
know.
the
Are
night
we?
off.
I don't know.
What do you guys, the five of us, what do you think about it?
I'll be
Night
right
off
back.
to work or work?
Don't matter to me. I'll be
Mike
home
too.
watching the returns.
why not have the show?
I know the only. I
You
think
and I both like the show, Paul.
What? What, Jim?
What'd you say, Nick?
I said you and I both like to podcast. That's
Sure.
the problem. We love what we're doing.
Yeah. Reloading.
Nick, did you say something, buddy?
The only one I know, that other one that would be having a show next week. I know Sean. They're doing a special election night, but I know theirs is only on Rumble.
Because of the politics.
Yeah.
Well, we may break in once in a while with something that's going on, but it's going to be, let's face it, California is, is what,
In a
4
minute.
hours? Yeah, the left coast is going to be that way, and the other left coast is going to be that, early. So, and most of the polls don't close till 8 or 9 o'clock. So.
Hey, Paul, you got the admin rights? Do you have admin rights to that computer?
Yes, sir.
If you do,
Yes, sir.
highlight that comment for Sean Z.
Yep.
Sorry.
Highlight that, please.
Water pills suck. That's all I got to say. So Six Pack Project said it was 19 degrees Fahrenheit wherever he is. Sucks to be you.
What?
Yep.
The heck? Yeah, that sucks. It was 72 this morning driving to work. Gorgeous.
It was 68 when I left work today.
Right now it's 73 degrees. Here in
68.
In
Madison,
Wisconsin?
73 degrees
Wow.
in Madison.
It's 78 here right now.
75 tomorrow with thunderstorms. 62 on Thursday with thunderstorms. And then Friday, 48. So, yes, Trump 2024, because the reason is elections have consequences. And if we don't get the president this year, then what happens is they get to nominate probably at least 2 Supreme Court justices, and you can kiss Heller and McDonald and Bruin goodbye. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
I mean, that's the bottom line. So I don't care if you like him or not. That's not what you're voting for. You're voting for the Supreme Court justice picks. You're voting to get pro Second Amendment Supreme Court justices picked, plus all the federal courts. That's what you're voting for. You're not voting for Trump as a person. So,
Lesser of two evils.
absolutely. And that's the bottom line is if he gets elected, she gets to choose two, and you could very well kiss Heller, McDonald, and Bruno away. Goodbye. Seriously. So,
Oh yeah.
But
I love her. I love her campaign speech that she had when she was as the Attorney General in California. You can own whatever you want. We just want to come in there and see it.
yeah, no thanks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
And you know, if you're feeling lucky, vote the Chicago way. Vote early and vote often.
Exactly.
I already voted.
So
I voted
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
awesome. So when you're talking about somebody to go vote, don't tell them who to go vote for. Just
tell them to vote.
tell them to go vote. Tell them you don't even want to know. You just want them to go vote. That's what you want. So,
That's all we want you to do is vote.
Yep.
You know, be an American citizen. Go out and do your duty that you have to do to be an American citizen, and that is to vote.
Yep. Millions of men and women have died for that right. So, anyway, so make sure you get out and vote. What did you guys decide while I was?
Well, I'm for it.
All right,
For it.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
So.
We understand if you guys aren't going to be there, if you're going to be busy,
Yep.
if you're going out to vote. I know it's all different time zones we got to cross, but hey, you know, just
Yep.
call, say hello. You know, just log on, say hello, say you voted. Tell us you voted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing Sean's doing. They're doing a call-in show. So
Yeah, I haven't listened to this week's We Like Shooting yet, so
I started today before my meetings.
I actually listened to last week's today. So anyway.
Yep.
I found out something interesting today. The silicone rings that you get, they wear down bad. So, I've got this one on here. I just put this on this morning. I bought a 4-pack off Amazon. Well, it's the one that I'd been wearing, I think, for probably a year is like a third of that width.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Is
I
yours
never
a
realized that.
Is yours a Groove Life?
No, some cheap stuff off Amazon.
Yeah, I'm a Groove Life. This is my second one. Just call them up, say I broke the other one. They'll send you a new one, no questions. Don't even have to send the old one back.
This was ROQ. So I don't know. They work pretty good because I got a size 14. So
Oh boy, big one.
I got big sausagey fingers. Anyway, all right. My wife was supervisor of the checklist. She would be pissed if I didn't go vote. Good. That's motivation. All right, gang. On that note, we will be here next week. Not sure what we're going to talk about yet. We're done with shot shells. We covered Cerrosafe now, so we got to figure out what we're going to do. So if you got any questions, reloadingpodcast@gmail.com, 608-467-0308. Remember, if you want to talk schmack, you can always send us a text at 608-467-0308, or you can leave us a voicemail at the same number. It's a Google Voice, so when it rings, it'll ring through and then go to the voicemail, and you can leave the voicemail. If you don't want it played live on air, say so at the beginning of the voicemail, because otherwise, with the voicemails, I tend to play them on air to share out. Anyway, nobody's left us a voicemail since Chris Sharp. I mean, come on. That was the last voicemail. For God's sake, somebody out there leave us a voicemail. Paul Loud,
Make sure you hit the
begging
like
you.
button. Hey, you guys on the gallery, make sure you hit the like button, please.
Yep.
It helps.
Whether you're on any of the platforms, leave us a like, leave us reviews. So, on that note, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Millsap short bus.
Teach them shoot and reload when they're young.
Grandpa told me, don't listen to your mama. Violence does solve problems.
Speaking of violence, support the Second Amendment. Every day,
Well,
all the way. Gun Owners of America, NRA, your local gun club. That's probably the best one for you to join, your local gun club. Because a lot of them require you to belong to a larger parent organization. In
I
fact,
honestly
belong-
cannot. Well, I was going to say, interrupt you for a second. I honestly cannot say to support the NRA at this point in time. They still have not proved that they've unscrewed themselves and are actually going to be the organization they're supposed to be, not the organization that WLP ran them into. I mean, if you're a life member already, that's one thing. But if you are looking for somewhere to spend your money, I do not recommend that unless it's just to go to the NRA annual meetings. There's a lot of other organizations you can send your money to that definitely will use it wisely. So, and the
like
NRA
the
still
Second
hasn't.
Amendment Foundation.
Yep.
Like
Second
the Second
Amendment
Amendment Foundation. Gun Owners of America. I intend to do. I join. I'm a member of Sandley Gun Club, which requires the NRA, and they also provide out of my dues membership to the North Carolina Rifle and Pistol Association.
Nice.
That's really, yeah, I like that quite a bit. I'm a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, life member for that matter.
Yep.
And I'm fixing to join the GOA.
Yep. So, yeah, there's quite a few good ones out there. Make sure you're involved in your local and state organizations.
Yep.
So,
Yep, absolutely. NCRPA.
hey, kilometers Metzger, it doesn't really matter whether Trump's gay or not. Don't care. He's the one that's choosing the Supreme Court justices, and he's pro-gun, and she's not. So I don't really care if he has sex with animals. Doesn't make a difference. So, but nice try. No, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, you're arguing with the gallery, Mike.
No,
Wrap
I'm
it up,
arguing
please.
with the troll is what I'm doing. So,
True.
which I fixed that
We
problem.
both, we both know better than
There you
that.
go.
Bye-bye. Anyway,
Have a good time.
so yeah.
I got to thank all the listeners out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are what keeps us coming back, and
This is why we do it.
yeah,
So,
because
Agreed.
yep. All right, gang. If you're struggling, 988 or 1-800-273-8255. Also, if you're former or active military, militaryonesource.com. And there's a newer organization out there that we're going to actually have on the show in the near future. So maybe I can get a book for next week or not, but good organization out there. Also, we're going to try and get where's my phone? Scroll. That's a lot of text messages. Good grief. Tyler from Alpine Optics on. So that's two of the possibles that we got coming up. So, all right, gang. Like I said, make sure that you get the help you need if you're struggling. We want you here. We need you here. We're here to help you with that fight. So, take care and good night.
good night, guys.
Good night.